Hey Trues, what's up? It's Tina and I'm back with another video. Thank you guys for watching. I am back. I know it's been a minute, but you know, your girl just had to live life without social media for a couple of seconds, you know what I'm saying? So I'm back with another video, and today I really want to specifically point out reasons as to why you should prioritize your mental health and self-awareness throughout your day-to-day, how this should be like a constant practice in your mind going on, how you navigate this life. Because when I tell you, this world will eat you out, you know what I'm saying, if you're not taking like a step back and moments to really evaluate what's going on, a mental health check, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to just talk about some reasons why you should do a mental health check, some reasons that might motivate you to do mental health checks with yourself, and some techniques that I use when I'm navigating through this new lifestyle of adulting, and how this can like help me, you know, progress in my self-awareness and, you know, self-love journey. So stay tuned for that. Oh, tip number one: no one is going to drag you to therapy. Woo child. Okay, so I know we're in a pandemic and like everybody kind of wants to experience that one-on-one therapy physically, but now all we have is Zoom calls, and BetterHelp might be the only option that some people might have when it comes to an app. And yeah, there's been some like talks about how BetterHelp might not be as useful sometimes, but there are some people with good hearts who are therapists on BetterHelp. And just in general, you don't have to have a certain therapist if you can't afford it. But let's say you have one of those friends that are very reasonable and tactful. You want to schedule a conversation with those type of friends. Well, those should be your only type of friends, but you know, if you have friends who are very practical when it comes to rationality and just like talking your thoughts through, and you feel so peaceful after you have a conversation with them, you should kind of schedule that into your like life routine. Like let's say once a month, because everyone's schedule is always busy. Let's say that you have time to talk to that friend that always be speaking the facts, you know, and pouring out like just real love and advice. Let's say you schedule that in like every 3 weeks or every month so you can have a mental check-in. So that would be like forming a great relationship with that type of friend, that you kind of catch up on base, that you don't speak to that friend like every 6 months. Let's say you speak to that friend every month just to check in on like what's going on. That is a mental health check for you if you can't afford a therapist, you know, that comes in frequently, because it can kind of touch base to like, hey, everybody's kind of like going through something. So that is a great tip. Scheduling in conversations that you know that will benefit you. Another thing would be podcasts. So that goes and tails with the whole, you know, talking things out. Podcasts, you can't really talk things out, but just listening to other people's stories. I know mental health podcasts are so beneficial. Like it just has you in, it's like having a therapist talk to you, but you're not talking back to the podcast, but it's still very beneficial. And subscribing to YouTube channels that uplift you in any way possible. Let's say you have an insecurity in ABCD, you go to a YouTube channel that serves you in that way, or a podcast that serves you in that way. You follow a Facebook group that serves you in that way. So those are some tips that can help you give like a mental health check there and there, while you are trying to also get free services. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody has the time or the money for a therapist, unless you're on like a very stable financial environment. So that's a great tip. A next tip. So another tip that also helps me with my mental health checks is what you decide to do every day adds up. So waking up in the morning, thinking positive thoughts, thinking about what you're going to do for the day, a lot of prayer, just centering yourself, however that looks like, is always important when you wake up in the morning. I feel like fresh off in the morning, because that sets the tone for the rest of your day. And if you set the tone with I am going to put myself first in terms of my self-care, in terms of my mental health, then you can see the results and the fruit of that. this can trickle down to just making one small decision, like, hey, like, today I'm going to do this before I go to work. Or today I'm going to exercise and release some endorphins before I start my day. That makes a big difference from what you do. And when you do that daily, it adds up. Like, you can see the sunshine and the beaming and the happiness that flows when you decide to choose yourself every time. I'm telling you. So no matter what decision it is, no matter what's happening, there's so many different things that happens in this life. If you decide to choose your mental health over it every time, regardless of financial gain or not, you will always see the fruit of that coming down like later on, or it'll be like right away. So earlier, I made a decision to cut my hours at work, and my financial compensation it didn't go down as much. But just cutting the hours that I want to cut, like during my prime hours where I feel that I'm most productive, saved me so much. Like, I feel like over the past month I have so much more peace than me doing that like full schedule. And I see the fruit of that. Like, I'm more overflowing, and I appreciate myself for choosing myself first. Like, I feel like a love there. It's beautiful. So please choose yourself every day. And with that, that means choose yourself with every decision. All right. So that's another tip. All right. Another reason why this should be a lifestyle for you, like mental health checks, is that you will feel more at peace even when you're going through chaos, or even if there's chaos around you. Point noted, when you're at peace with the decisions that you made, that you know that you put yourself first, you put your mental health first. When things are happening around you, like let's say people are going through like the worst time and stuff like that, you even feel like more better equipped to even help that person, because you yourself are in a good state. You're grounded in what you feel that you need and what you feel that you can take. So when you are in that space, that you are in your headspace in terms of mental health checks, that, hey, I'm only here for what I need, and I need to just assess what I need in this life to make sure that I'm living as peaceful as possible. It attracts a lot of people who might not have that peace, and they're like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you know, like, you need to talk to me. But you even feel more like grounded to help them because you yourself are more grounded. So yes, that is very important. And another reason why you should, like, mentally and intentionally give yourself mental health checks. So another way to help yourself with mental health checks is identifying the situation as a whole. And I don't only take in consideration how you feel about a situation, but also, you know, whatever you believe in, you can take like the Holy Spirit into it, and God, and if you feel like you're in alignment with whatever is happening in a certain situation, so you can know what to do. I think that always drawing yourself back a bit before you take every step is so important, because we could be in this life and we could just be taking a bunch of steps and we're like going backwards and not knowing. So it's better to take your time with the steps than just go wrong with the steps in this life. So always taking the time to draw back and be like, hey, like, something doesn't seem right here. Like, I don't think there's a flow, like there's something off. You identify what area of that is in your life, and then you assess and be like, what is it that I need to do? Like, really take time to marinate in that. And after you do, and you actually take that step, then you really see like the benefit of like, wow, I'm so glad I reassessed that, you know, decision, or reassess that assignment that I did. That in life will help you so much. Like, you always need to reassess, because we're always growing and changing. So what we need and what we want is always changing, like always. So with every situation, with every like thing that comes in life, we always have to reassess. Like, let's center back, you know, let's take a brief deep breath and really center into what we need to do. So that is an important key, and that's literally what a mental health check is with yourself in a way. I will say no. All right, another point. Don't extend yourself if it's not necessary. Whew. I had to learn that the hard way because I'm a natural giver and a natural empath. Like, I feel like most of you who are watching are. And when I say do not extend yourself if it's not necessary, sometimes we kind of come off with this warrior mindset that we must suffer and like bleed to live this life abundantly. And it's not conductive, or it does not benefit us in any way, because at the end of the day, ourselves, like, we're deprived from what we need. And when we're deprived, we can't really cultivate and do the things that we need to do. So if you're deprived, you can't help nobody else. You can't be you. You smile less. And who wants to smile less? Like, no. So when you make decisions for yourself and you put yourself first and you say, hey, I see this task here, I cannot extend myself after this limit, like you put those boundaries, man, oh man, like they make a big difference. It's like your body is like, oh my gosh, thank you for appreciating me. Like, prime example, some people want to gain more money, so they want to do overtime. And that might just put a big toll on your body. So if doing overtime is putting a big toll on your body, you might want to make your side hustle not with the job you already have. Maybe your side hustle has to change to like being a photographer, or maybe doing something like DoorDash, just for your energy, or just for your environment to be conducive to you and what would work for you. And when you make that shift, you appreciate yourself. You be like, yo, thank goodness that I really prioritize my mental health in this area. And I said, no, if I want to make money, but I don't want to deprive myself, I'm going to do A, B, and C, something that I love, something that I don't mind, something that's less hours, not on the clock, just certain things, you know? And then I can deal with that corporate job at the same time or something like that. It's fair for yourself, and you know that you can extend yourself, you know. And then this is going to come from my next tip. All right. Your presence and the value that you bring in this world is very important, and you need to understand that. Like, putting yourself anywhere in any position, whether it be in this life, is not. You should be very careful with where you put yourself, because you're valuable. You know, we're valuable creatures, we're valuable people. What we bring to the table, like our gifts and all that stuff, are very valuable. So we always want to be careful about what presence, what environments we put ourselves in. And if the environment doesn't serve you, then it's time for you to detach from that. And I've been practicing that like a crazy person. Like, I've literally been practicing that. Like, no, I'm not going to respond to this email until I'm more relaxed, or I'm not going to call back until I'm like, it's even little minute things. Like, if I, let's say, know that I've been planning to like exercise more and do more, you know, exercise and stuff like that, what I'll do is like plan activities leading up to that. Instead of going out to eat, I'll be like, no, hey, let's at least go for a bike ride, and then maybe we could think about something small to eat. But I am getting the benefits of what I need, you know? And sometimes we think that's selfish as empaths, but no, like, that's something that we should strive for as well. Like, it's not selfish to take care of yourself, you know, or think about yourself in that way. So yes, putting yourself in environments, please, your energy, everything is precious, you know? What you offer is precious, okay? Not everybody deserves it, especially if it's environments that do not serve you. That goes for your fake friends and your fake cousins, you know, whoever's fake. Like, please detach. It's very necessary. Very. Okay. And then lastly, I want to say, be allergic to things that do not serve you. Man, allergy season for me has been very conductive. Before, I used to just sit and let my allergies act up, but now when I'm around environments that do not serve me, I detach myself very quickly. And I feel like the biggest move for me was moving, you know, moving to California and actually living out like the dream and the things that I wanted to do when it came to moving out here and doing what I want to do. So I, after that came, everything else trickled in that same effect. Like, if I didn't want to go here, if I didn't want to hang out with these people or new people that I met, then I would tell myself that I can say no, you know? And that really helped. And I also believe that the monthly check-ins with friends who were very supportive and gave great advice, I would make sure those were scheduled in like monthly, because everybody's busy, you know? And if you don't have a therapist, that is a very good tip. And listening to mental health podcasts that serve you. So, like I said, if you have insecurities in certain areas, you go to a specific podcast, kind of branch out. That's the beauty of social media, I feel like, or YouTube channels that you want like more information about, and you listen to them and see if, you know, they're in alignment with the things that you believe in and stuff like that. And I think that makes a big difference, because your mental health, like the health of your mind, is so important. I even was telling myself, oh, I've been slacking because I need to read more books. Like podcasts and stuff are cool, but I think reading is fundamental as well. So sometimes we forget that how important reading is. That I got when I was little in middle school and I was reading all these books, I was so much more aware because of the books I read. Like I read about people who, you know, went through suicide and the stories and all that stuff. And I need to definitely want to reading more self-help books are amazing. Please be careful with the type of self-help books you read, because some of them be having like different like objectives, or, you know, just a different like sentiment. So make sure the self-help books you read are in alignment with, you know, what you believe in. So I am thinking about reading Devon Franklin's new book that he's been like advertisement, and Sarah Jake Roberts, her new book too. So I'm definitely gonna like check those books out this summer and read them, because the last amazing book I read, I feel it was by, I forgot the book's name, something with purpose, but like that was like the last amazing. No, and then I read Mike Todd's book. So I'm definitely gonna read more, because I feel like the more you read, the more you're cultivating your mind and keeping your mind healthy, because you're renewing your mind with new information and different ways to better serve yourself, if that makes sense. So thank you guys for watching. Like, I'm so in need of a video and I needed to post this. I'm definitely gonna post more just in general, because I have a lot of things up my sleeve. Like, God has been doing amazing things in my life. Like, I cannot complain. Like, literally I wake up every morning and I'm like, I'm living a dream out here in these streets. Like, I feel so at place, if that makes sense. Like, just so in the space that I need to be in, and I'm so grateful for it. Like, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about how grateful and happy I am to be in this space and position that I'm in. And yeah, so stay tuned for my next video. I'm definitely going to talk more. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned because there's some big things coming up. You feel me? There's some big things coming up. So please stay tuned to this